Chosen one, God didn't delay you. He stopped you, not to punish, not to confuse, but because one more step would have crossed a line you couldn't return from. You didn't click this by accident. This moment was arranged, timed, watched over. There is a reason your spirit feels alert right now, like something unseen just leaned closer. Chosen one, heaven has been investigating your path. Every door you almost walked through, every decision that looked harmless but carried hidden consequences. What looked right was dangerous. What felt urgent was destructive. And just before the damage became permanent, God said, "Stop." Chosen one, before we go deeper, pause for a moment. Hit subscribe and comment "I receive" if your spirit is already responding. Because this message is not background noise. It's alignment, it's confirmation, and it's about to speak directly to you. There have been nights you couldn't explain, a heaviness without a name, confusion that didn't match your effort or intentions. You questioned yourself, your instincts, even your faith. But what you didn't see was the unseen resistance, the quiet spiritual warfare happening behind closed doors, the delays, the sudden blocks, the plans that collapsed at the last second. They weren't failures. They were mercy disguised as interruption. Chosen one, you were being protected from a version of your life that would have cost you your peace, your calling, your future clarity. God saw the full picture when you only saw the next step. He saw the betrayal behind the smile, the exhaustion behind the opportunity, the loss hidden inside the gain. And so he intervened, not loudly but firmly, not violently but decisively. This is recognition, that strange relief you felt when it ended, that exhaustion after resisting, that sense of something just saved me. That was divine validation. You survived battles you never got credit for. You escaped outcomes you were never meant to endure. Light pulled you back just as shadow closed in. And now, chosen one, you are here, Kumus, at the edge of revelation. Because what God stopped wasn't the end of your story. It was the protection of it. Stay with me. A hidden truth is about to be revealed. Chosen one, let us slow down here, because this part matters more than you realize. Settling did not enter your life as failure. It did not come wearing the face of giving up. It came quietly, gently, almost lovingly. After everything you endured, after the chaos, the loss, the pressure, the unanswered prayers, settling felt like relief. And relief can feel holy when you've been in survival mode for too long. You weren't running towards smallness. You were running away from pain. And God saw that. After battles no one clapped for, after nights where you had to be strong without support, safety felt like mercy. Predictability felt like peace. Waking up knowing nothing would shake you felt like rest. And for a season, chosen one, it was rest. God allowed it. He didn't rush you. He didn't shame you. He let you breathe. But here's the truth your spirit has been trying to whisper to you. What soothed you was never meant to contain you. Settling was a shelter, not a destination. Think about it. Have you noticed how at first the calm felt healing, but later it felt heavy? How the same routine that once comforted you started to quietly drain you? How you weren't in pain anymore, yet you weren't fully alive either. That wasn't ingratitude. That was awareness awakening. Chosen one, God sometimes gives us safe places not to stay forever, but to recover enough to move again. Ask yourself gently, why did my spirit stop expanding here? Why do I feel protected, yet limited? Why does peace feel silent instead of alive? Settling felt safe because it removed risk. No disappointment, no heartbreak, no spiritual warfare. But it also removed momentum. Purpose doesn't shout, but it moves. And when movement stops for too long, the soul begins to ache, even in comfort. This is not a rebuke. This is recognition. You didn't settle because you lacked faith. You settled because you were tired, because you needed quiet, because you needed stability after instability. And God honored that season. But chosen one, seasons change. And what once saved you can eventually suffocate you if you stay too long. The reason this message resonates is because something in you already knows. You are healed enough now to rise again. Settling kept you safe when you were wounded, but you are no longer bleeding. And deep inside, God is gently asking you, not loudly, not urgently, just lovingly, are you ready to move again? Chosen one, this shift didn't happen in a moment you could point to. There was no loud warning, no obvious turning point. Comfort doesn't announce itself like danger does. It whispers. It settles in slowly. It speaks in a voice that sounds reasonable, protective, even wise. It says, you've done enough. You've been through enough. This is good. Stay here. And after everything you survived, that voice felt trustworthy. Comfort didn't ask you to quit your dreams. It simply asked you to stop stretching for them. It didn't tell you to abandon purpose. It suggested you postpone it indefinitely. And because nothing painful happened right away, you didn't notice the exchange taking place. Purpose was not stolen from you. It was gently set aside. Ask yourself honestly, chosen one, when was the last time something excited your spirit instead of just calming your nerves? When was the last time you felt that quiet fire? Not anxiety, not pressure, but aliveness. Purpose doesn't feel heavy, but it does feel active. It asks something of you. It pulls you forward. Comfort, on the other hand, asks you to remain still. At first, stillness felt like healing, but over time it became a kind of sleep. You began choosing what was manageable over what was meaningful, what was safe over what was aligned. Not because you were afraid, but because you were tired of fighting. And God understood that. He never accused you. He watched patiently as you rested. But chosen one, there comes a moment when rest, if extended too long, begins to dull the senses of the soul. That dullness you felt wasn't depression, it was disconnection. You weren't unhappy, you were understimulated at a spiritual level. You were surviving, functioning, maintaining, but not expanding. And expansion is where your calling breathes. This is why you felt guilty for wanting more, even though nothing was wrong. Comfort told you wanting more was ungrateful, but purpose whispered, you were made for growth. Do you feel that tension inside you even now? That strange mix of gratitude and longing? That's not confusion. It's clarity trying to surface. Chosen one, God never called you to a life that only keeps you comfortable. He called you to a life that keeps you awake. And the dimming you noticed wasn't failure. It was a signal, a holy signal letting you know that comfort had quietly taken the place of purpose, and your spirit was ready to remember what it feels like to reach again. So let me ask you gently, and let this question sit with you. If comfort were removed, what would your soul immediately run toward? Chosen one, let's talk about that feeling you tried to silence. That quiet restlessness that showed up even when life looked stable. Even when nothing was technically wrong. You questioned it, didn't you? You told yourself you should be grateful, that others would be thankful to have what you have. Yet still, something inside you wouldn't settle. Not because you were dissatisfied, but because you were remembering. That restlessness was not rebellion. It was recognition. It was your spirit remembering who you were before you learned how to shrink to fit expectations, environments, and roles that could never fully hold you. Before you learned how to soften your voice, dull your dreams, and make yourself easier to manage. God was not stirring frustration in you. He was awakening truth. Ask yourself gently, chosen one, why did the restlessness grow louder the more you tried to ignore it? Why did distraction only work temporarily? Why did silence feel heavy instead of peaceful? Because this wasn't anxiety. It wasn't confusion. It was a holy nudge, a reminder that you were designed for movement, not stagnation. God does not stress his chosen ones into purpose. He stirs them. Stress feels chaotic. It drains you. It leaves you frantic. But what you felt was different. It came in waves, in moments of reflection, late at night, early in the morning. In flashes of imagination, you quickly shut down. It was gentle, persistent, and patient, just like God. That stirring wasn't asking you to leap blindly. It wasn't forcing you into urgency. It was simply asking you to stop pretending you were finished growing, to stop calling pause a destination, to stop silencing the part of you that still wanted to become. Chosen one, do you remember the dreams you once had before survival became your main goal? Do you remember how alive you felt when you believed expansion was possible? That memory isn't meant to hurt you, it's meant to guide you. Restlessness is often mislabeled as ingratitude, but in truth, it is alignment trying to re-enter your life. God was gently tapping your shoulder saying, there is more, and you are ready now. Not more pressure, not more chaos, more you. And notice this, the restlessness didn't push you away from God. It drew you closer, it made you reflect, it made you search, it made you listen. That alone tells you its source. God does not confuse his chosen ones. He calls them forward without fear, without force, only with truth. So instead of asking, why can't I be content? Ask this instead, what part of me is waking up again? Chosen one, this is where many misunderstand the hand of God. When discomfort arrived, you thought something had gone wrong. You assumed you were being punished, delayed, or pushed backward. But discomfort did not enter your life to break you. It entered to reposition you. Heaven was not angry with you. Heaven was adjusting your direction. Disruption often feels violent when you don't see the alignment behind it. Plans shifted, doors closed without explanation. People changed, opportunities dissolved, and your mind kept asking, why now? Why like this? But God was not removing stability, he was removing misalignment. What felt like loss was actually release. Think about it. Chosen one, why did the discomfort show up right when you started becoming aware again? Why did unease rise when comfort had already begun to dull your spirit? Because God does not realign what is still asleep. He corrects what is awakening. Discomfort is the language of redirection. Your soul knew something was off before your mind could admit it. You tried to reason your way out of the feeling. You tried to hold on to what was familiar because familiarity feels safe, even when it no longer fits. But God, in his mercy, refused to let you settle into a version of life that would slowly shrink you. And notice how gentle the correction truly was. God didn't shove you forward, he turned your shoulders. A subtle shift, a quiet nudge. Just enough discomfort to make staying harder than moving. Just enough tension to wake your courage without overwhelming your faith. Ask yourself honestly, why did you feel relief mixed with grief? Why did part of you know the ending was necessary, even as another part mourned it? That duality is the signature of divine realignment. Human loss feels empty. God-led release feels painful and purposeful. Chosen one, your mind begged for familiarity because familiarity requires no faith. But your calling demands trust. And God loves you too much to let you build permanence in a place that cannot sustain who you are becoming. This discomfort is not a sign that you missed God. It is proof that God is close. He corrects what he cares for. He redirects what carries purpose. And he allows discomfort only to save you from deeper regret. So don't rush to escape this moment. Don't numb it. Don't label it as failure. Sit with it. Listen to it. Because what feels like misplacement is actually positioning. And let me ask you, chosen one, if God is turning you, what is he turning you toward? Chosen one, interruptions are rarely welcome. When they arrive, they feel like obstacles, delays that disrupt your momentum, endings that arrive too soon, pauses that don't make sense in the middle of effort. At first, every interruption in your life felt inconvenient, even cruel. You questioned the timing. You questioned yourself. You wondered why, just as things were settling or starting to work. Something suddenly stopped. But over time, a deeper truth began to surface. The interruption wasn't random. It was intentional. God often speaks through pauses because noise makes us miss direction. When the path suddenly slowed, when progress was halted, when plans collapsed without explanation, it wasn't because you were doing something wrong. It was because you were getting too close to something that looked good but would have quietly drained your calling. Chosen one, the pause was protection. You didn't see what was forming ahead. You couldn't detect the subtle compromises you would have had to make. You didn't know the emotional cost, the spiritual erosion, the loss of clarity that would have followed. But God saw it clearly. And instead of allowing you to learn through irreversible pain, he interrupted the process entirely. Endings hurt because they feel like rejection, but divine endings feel different. They sting, yet they leave behind a strange sense of relief. Have you noticed that? That moment where grief and peace exist together? That's guidance, not abandonment. Ask yourself this: why did the interruption arrive right before you crossed a point of no return? Why did something stop you when walking away would have been harder later? That's not coincidence. That's mercy. God wasn't removing good from your life. He was blocking what would have cost you greatness. He was refusing to let temporary comfort sabotage eternal assignment. What felt like delay was actually a detour around destruction. Chosen one, trusting the interruption requires faith because it asks you to believe God when the evidence isn't visible yet. It asks you to trust the one who sees the full picture while you only see the next step. And that kind of trust doesn't come from ease. It comes from relationship. You are not behind. You were held back on purpose. So instead of asking, "Why did this stop?" ask something deeper. What did this interruption save me from? And where is God redirecting me now? Chosen one, this is where many stumble. Not because they aren't capable, but because they've been trained to feel guilty for wanting more, for wanting better, for seeking alignment with the life they were created to live. You have been taught to survive quietly, to make do, to accept less than what stirs your soul. And yet here you are, feeling the pull of something greater, something your spirit cannot ignore. You were never meant to apologize for this desire. Wanting alignment is not selfish. Wanting growth is not arrogance. Wanting more than mere survival is not pride. It is the natural unfolding of purpose. Chosen one, God did not create you to linger where your light cannot fully shine. Every call to expand, to reach, to step into the unknown is a sacred invitation. And stepping forward is obedience, not rebellion. Think about it. How often have you silenced your dreams because they felt too big or too much for your current life? How often have you paused because the voices around you told you to settle, to be grateful, to lower your expectations? That hesitation is not a lack of faith. It is the echo of years of conditioning. But God is reminding you now, your capacity to grow is holy and your desire to rise is righteous. Choosing expansion asks something of you. It asks courage when the world prefers comfort. It asks faith when the path is unseen. It asks that you hold your vision steady, even when others cannot understand it. And yes, it may feel uncomfortable at first, because growing always demands leaving something behind. But discomfort here is different than the misalignment we spoke of earlier. This is discomfort aligned with destiny. This is the kind of stretch that awakens your full potential. So ask yourself, chosen one, why do you hesitate to claim what is already yours? Why do you apologize for wanting the very life God prepared for you before you were even born? The answer is that old fear. Fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of stepping out before the world says it's safe. But your alignment does not require permission. Your growth does not require approval. Your expansion does not require apology. This is your moment to embrace abundance, clarity, and purpose without guilt. To step into your calling fully and unapologetically. To honor every season you survive by using it as fuel for the next one. God is calling you beyond survival, to thriving, to influence, to impact, to the fullness of who you were created to be. Chosen one, the question now is not whether you can claim more, but whether you will allow yourself to receive it. Will you step forward without apology, without hesitation, trusting that every step you take toward your calling is both sacred and supported? The life you've been holding back from is waiting, and God is saying, it is time. Claim it.